On what instrument do I perform a song of brass and ash? This gun in my hand. The time is high noon. Incombustible hero by virtue of the fact that he carries a gun, Falk Zildjian patrols the grimy streets of Hex Pantry, a hot part of Parabellum City. The back of Falk's neck is getting dirty and gritty. As he pauses to remove his fedora and wipe away sweat with the sleeve of his trench coat, Falk hears an eerie droning.
Hey, Falk, what you doing?
Hi, Alan. Just a minute. I'm listening for an eerie droning.
Sorry, my mom says I'm irritating when I drone on and on, but she never called me eerie.
It's not you. Listen.
Oh yeah, that. Some spacemen from outer space are landing today. Or maybe space women? Maybe they have other genders we can't even conceive of, or we'd have a hard time accepting. I was heading this way to greet them.
Spacemen? There's been no word on the street about it.
What else could be causing that sound? Plus I heard there's been other signals.
What signals? Who reported them? Scientists? Newspapermen? Government? No, the government wouldn't report it. They'd hide it because they think average citizens can't handle the truth.
Or they'd be confused about how to maintain power when confronting a clearly more powerful group. Anyhow, you don't need a special radio or nothing. You can just hear them. There, you hear that? That's an outer space vehicle.
That sounds like an airplane motor passing overhead. Possibly a dirigible.
Do you see one up there?
I don't know. It could be blocked from view by one of these decrepit tenement buildings.
How do you explain that one?
That sounds like a metal box being dragged across concrete. In a warehouse, maybe.
I'm telling you, that's some kind of alien signal.
Why would they land in the middle of Hex Pantry? You've been reading too many science fiction pulps.
I can't afford pulps. I get my science fiction from the radio, and there's not hardly enough of it on there. I hope I got time to say hi to the invaders before they emerge in their three-legged robot armor and start evaporating all of us.
You're getting worked up over nothing. I'm sure there's a natural explanation.
Did that sound natural to you?
One of these apartments is probably playing the radio. A comedy about a happy couple who's hiding the fact that the wife is a witch. Or possibly a genie. That's the sound she makes when she performs magic.
Why would anyone make a comedy about witchery? It sounded to me like a circular metal hatch on a space vehicle, slowly unscrewing.
I find it hard to believe aliens capable of interplanetary travel would use screwing technology for the door of their ship.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
That just sounds like,
Yes?
the radar from a Nazi U-boat that's just appeared on the sidewalk after the effects of a shrink ray wore off.
Now who's coming up with fantastical stories? Give it up, Falk. It must be around that corner of the alley. Let's go. Ah, jeez. They're already starting to evaporate people. We're gonna miss it.
That sounds almost musical.
The aliens are just drawing you in like the sirens from the Odyssey.
Well, there you go, Alan. See that window on the third floor?
Which one?
Right there. The guy sitting on the window ledge playing his trombone.
He's gonna scare away the Venusians with that racket.
He is the Venusians. It's the sound of his trombone bouncing off the walls of the alley and reverberating in dumpsters and metal garbage cans.
How do you explain that sound, then?
That's the metal springs groaning as he lowers the stairway on the fire escape. He's coming down.
Hello there. I do not usually get a positive reception from listeners in the alley.
You sound familiar.
Yeah, although I am only recently arrived to Parabellum City, people tell me that acoustics are weird here, and so everyone sounds alike. My name is Fritz Schwarz.
Okay, well, nice meeting you. We'll leave you to your music, then. I really have to get back.
I have heard your city is a great place for crime fighters, so I have formed a team. We are called the Brotherhood of Brass. Each of us plays a brass instrument. As you might imagine, I am known as the tromboner.
It sounds like English is not your first language, so you might not realize how that would sound.
The other members are right inside my apartment. You fellows, lean out the window and say hello. You see there my second in command, a man of Italian descent, the cornetto. And the next two you might also recognize from their prior appearance in episode 90. They are Jack and Jill, former members of G.I. Jake's forward operating group Mother Goose.
Hello. Hey.
Before that, they were known as the Wundertwinks. They were on some superhero team operating out of Cincinnati Union Terminal. With their limited shape-shifting powers, Jack transforms into beasts, while Jill is able to transform into water, which doesn't seem very useful, except she can also become steam or ice, and the ice can take whatever shape she calls out. After many years of testing different forms, they settled on two that seemed to work best. Jack forms into a bird of prey, and Jill takes the form of an icy, low-pitched wind instrument. Together, they are known as Hawk Tuba.
I don't get it.
You're going to get it.
No, you!
Who's this?
There is no time to explain. We must stop them.
Wait, now is not the time for us to fight.
There is no better time to fight.
Falk Zildjian will take my side in this matter. You must not stop me from what I am about to say.
I don't even know you, fella.
I have paid for commercial airtime on this episode in order to introduce the entire city and the entire audience within the range of this station's signal to my band of criminals, the Woodwinds of Change.
This station signal doesn't cover the entire city.
Are you going to defend admitted criminals, Zildjian?
I'm sorry, Fritz. Let's give them their moment, and then you can battle it out.
This Gun in My Hand is brought to you by the Woodwinds of Change.
Friends, are you troubled by muggers or bank robbers who take your money without having related identities or some kind of theme? Organized crime can be so disorganized these days. Some gangs call themselves families when they are not related by consanguinity, or there may be no connection between the fanciful identities they've separately taken for themselves. Do you really want to tell people you were victimized by the Disemboweler, Proud Mary, and the Haberdasher? That's why we've come together around an orchestral theme, as the Woodwinds of Change. My co-conspirators in this endeavor are the Clarinet Martinet, hello, peasants, as well as the Bassoon Goon. And I am their leader, Josephus Johnson, also known as Oboe Jojo.
How come I don't get no bassoon solo in the commercial? Martin got 6 seconds to play his piece.
I'm not taking a solo and you're not taking a solo because both of our instruments are featured in the piece playing in the background. Alessandro Marcello's Oboe Concerto in F minor.
Yeah, but...
Silence!
Fine.
Where was I? I've given all of our villain names, the name of the group. There was something else I was going to mention. I'll think of it later. Go ahead and end the commercial so we can fight.
Okay. We now return with Act 2 of the 126th episode of This Gun in My Hand, titled A Song of Brass and Ash.
Actually, ash makes terrible woodwinds. Superior instruments are made of ebony, grenadillo, blackwood, maple...
But they do not hold up in battle as well as metal does, as you will now discover.
If you had any respect for your instrument, you'd never wield it as a cudgel.
What is the matter, Jojo? Did you get a bobo on your oboe?
Zildjian, this man Fritz Schwartz is a Nazi. He was a submariner on the microscopic U-boat in episode 125, This Hun in My Gland.
I knew his voice sounded familiar.
That is not true. I had no speaking parts in episode 125, only trombone sounds, so you could not have recognized my voice.
But you are a Nazi?
I was conscripted. They would have killed me if I resisted joining their armed forces. You heard Herr Dr. Gorin chastise me for playing trombone on the bridge of the U-boat. That was a conscious act of sabotage.
You weren't trying to sabotage anything. You take that infernal trombone everywhere and play it all day.
Yes, and how do you get to Carnegie Hall, Jojo?
From here, you'd ride the rails to New York City.
9. You don't even know the cliches of your motherland. The answer is practice, practice, practice. If you have not spent the entirety of your youth practicing, how do you expect to achieve mastery of your oversized flute? But this is all irrelevant. Even if I had been a devout Nazi, the United States has not yet entered the war or begun housing German POWs in prison camps.
I may be a criminal, but I'm still willing to punch Nazis. Why don't you face me in my lair, if you dare, tromboner?
Where is your lair? Here in Hex Pantry?
No, it's in a fashionable neighborhood outside of Parabellum Heights. I train all the members of the Woodwinds of Change there, at the Oboe Dojo.
Oh, no.
I was going to call it Kobo Hall, or K-Oboe Hall, but there's a narrow region where that joke would land.
Enough! Brassies, advance!
Woodies, stand your ground.
You are nothing but an oboe hobo!
Take that! I am the Mexican Timberwolf of Woodwinds, the Oboe Lobo.
Your oboe sounds too dry. Have you considered applying some oleo?
You're just jealous because you didn't think to buy commercial airtime on this gun in my hand.
If nothing else, I am thankful that you did not use a mechanical voice to read your commercial, Oboe Jojo.
Of course not. I would never put out a robo promo.
Guys, you aren't making jokes or puns. They're just rhymes.
If you rhyme hard enough, it's funny.
Alan, do you remember which ones are the good guys and which are the bad guys? I should probably jump in instead of standing on the sidelines watching them fight. I think the Disembowler started as a villain, but he did a heel face turn recently.
Stop the fight. Stop, please. Oof.
Don't try any of your tricks, Jojo.
As you may know from reading my polemics, I subscribe to the dialectical method. I believe that every question or conflict can be resolved by working through the thesis and antithesis, bringing them into synthesis.
You fool! Karl Popper chided the dialectics of Hegel, Marx, and Engels for their eagerness, quote, to put up with contradictions, unquote. Not all matters can fit into this model of...
Nonetheless, I have synthesized our conflicts. From now on, I will play an instrument made of brass and wood. You will call me Dobro Jojo.
What?
Woof.
Oh, no.
Where does that leave the rest of the Woodies?
I don't know. I'm going to the cafe to get some hot cocoa, even though my doctor says it's a no-no.
Did you think that line funny enough to close out the episode? Your bassoon goon was correct. These are merely rhymes, not puns.
I thought it was funny.
It was so-so. A Song of Brass and Ash, episode 126 of This Gun in My Hand, was Blown Until It Was Windy by Rob Northrup. This episode and all others are available on YouTube with automatically generated closed captions of dialogue. Visit thisguninmyhand.blogspot.com for credits, show notes, archives, and to buy my books, such as Sisyphus Eat Your Heart Out, available in paperback and ebook from Amazon. How do I get to Carnegie Hall? This gun in my hand.